Welcome on into a Cleveland Browns mailbag edition of the Cleveland Browns Report, answering questions that came in during our live show, which airs on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. First things first, though, shout out your city for me. Let me know where you are tuning in from. It's always fun to see how far and wide the dog pound stretches. But our first question coming in via Super Chat from Braden. Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter? But what if Vegas or Giants don't trade up? What would you do or pick someone else up? This is a very real scenario where no one calls if you want the Browns to trade that pick away. No one calls for it. And if that's the situation where the Browns are picking two, and let's say Cleveland in this scenario isn't interested in Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, whatever sloppy seconds they get from the Tennessee Titans. In this situation, I would prefer to go with Abdul Carter. What's not to like about Travis Hunter? He was electric in college football this year. My only reservation is I'm getting slight traits of like Jabril Peppers. Remember him at Michigan playing offense and defense, and he was a complete Swiss Army knife. And then when he got to the NFL, he was a safety for the Browns, and a good safety. But if Travis Hunter is just going to play one way at the next level, if he only played one way in college, would he still be the first player off the board that's not a quarterback? Probably not. And I think we should probably start looking at him in that lens of, well, if he's only going to play one way in the NFL, which most think he will only play one way, then we should probably start ignoring the offensive production he had if you only plan to play him on defense. Now, if you plan to play him both ways, then that's a very versatile player, and he's a very good player, and I won't be upset if Hunter's the pick, but that's my fear. Whereas Abdul Carter, in year one at the position, he put up 10 sacks. Imagine what he's going to be in 2 to 3 years. He's probably a little bit more of a developmental pick for the second overall draft pick, but I still think he's going to be a Pro Bowl level player. Cool guy. I heard Drew Allar wanted to be a Cleveland Brown, and if that's so, out of all the QBs in the draft, where would you rank him? I'm going to take this question, and I'm going to just kind of open it up to, how did Drew Allar go from being a third-round pick that we wanted the Browns to get to, if he enters the draft, saying he won't enter the draft, should the Browns take him second overall? 2-3 weeks ago, we're talking third round. What's changed? I mean, he's played some good games. Don't get me wrong. That's very important, but good enough to go from third round in people's eyes to second overall? How much of that influence has become he's from Northern Ohio, right? He's from the Cleveland area. He grew up a Browns fan. If he was from Missouri, would you still want to take him second overall? Come on, guys. We can't just take someone second overall because he's from Ohio and he likes the Browns. We have to value the second overall draft pick more than that. So, where would I rank Drew Allar to rank him out of all these quarterbacks? Probably third. I think it would go Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, then Drew Allar. And then we can fight over Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard, and Kyle McCord. Jalen Milroe sucks. AFX, why do we ever draft Siaki Ika? Also, did Jordan Elliott do anything last year, as well as Tommy Togiai, and did Perrion Winfrey ever play again? All right, I'm going to go purely based off memory here, so anyone can fact check me. Why did the Browns draft Siaki Ika? His first year at Baylor, he had like 3.5 sacks, and he was 360 pounds. So Jim Schwartz and the Browns thought, okay, that's a monster of a human being who is still able to generate some pass rush upside. Ultimately, there was no pass rush upside, and the guy was just an extremely large human being, but not a real NFL football player. I did not really like the pick when it happened, and ultimately it took the Browns just a year or so to realize it was a bad pick. As for Jordan Elliott, he went to the 49ers. I'm pretty sure he had like an okay season. Jordan Hargrave, remember him? Like from free agency 2 years ago, breakout year with the Eagles. He got injured for the Niners this past season. So Elliott had a decent role. I don't think it was a role or a level of play where they are itching to bring him back. As for Tommy Togiai, last I heard he was with the Falcons practice squad. I think he went somewhere else, and I can't quite recall, but the answer is no. He did not really do a whole lot. Although I thought he had like a really good preseason or something. And then Perrion Winfrey went to the Jets, and then he got injured. And he is not – I don't think he played football at all in 2024. So there it is. That's where all 4 defensive tackles drafted by the Browns in the first 4 rounds ended up. Before we look at the other questions on today's episode, today's show is made possible thanks to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time has an awesome feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. One thing I love about Game Time is their all-in pricing option. When you toggle this feature, it'll show you the total upfront cost with no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAT Sports for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Gregory, what tackle do you think will fit our system the best, and in what round do you take one? Excellent question, Gregory. So there are 4 tackles for round 1. You've got Kelvin Banks out of Texas, Will Campbell out of LSU. You have Josh Simmons from Ohio State, who I think could go round 1. And then another guy who I think could go round 1 is Ariante Irsay, the left tackle from Minnesota. As for who fits the Browns the best, Irsay is definitely catching my eye. He played left tackle for the Golden Gophers. I don't think he's going to be a lock to go round 1, but teams do value tackles a lot, so he could be the 4th tackle taken, and if someone in round 1 really wants one, they might reach on him. But I like him as a projected 2nd-round pick for the Browns. As for Kelvin Banks, there are some questions about him and whether or not he really has the talent level to be a top 10 draft pick. I like Will Campbell. The issue is people think he could play guard at the next level. And I'm not here to knock on linemen switching from guard to tackle or tackle to guard. But if you do that, they can't be a top 10 draft pick. If you're picking someone top 10, they should go on to play the position that you drafted them to play in college. If you want to draft someone 58th overall and say, we actually think you're going to be a center, not a guard, all right, that's fine. But if you're taking someone 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th overall, you should take them because they are so good at that position. Not we're going to take them with a really coveted draft pick and then put them in a new position. Huh? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me for being a top 10 pick. So as for who fits the system best, Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. There is a pipeline from Columbus to Cleveland on the offensive line. DeJuan Jones, Luke Whippler, and plenty of other Buckeyes at other positions. So why not Simmons maybe in round 2? Joshua Miller. How many QBs should we bring in for 2025, whether through free agency or the draft? Really good question, Josh. Let's assume that Deshaun Watson spends the entire season on the PUP list. He does not count towards the 53-man roster. If that's the case, there is only one quarterback currently scheduled to be on the Browns roster, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So my projection is DTR will likely stay with the Browns. They could move on from him, but they seem to have a little bit of an affinity towards him despite, I don't know what they see. We've seen a lot of regular season games now, and they all suck. Veteran like Kirk Cousins, Justin Fields, Jacoby Brissett, and then a rookie. So I'd say there are going to be 2 new quarterbacks, and they are both going to jump DTR in the depth chart. Now, the topic that everyone is fighting over is what the Browns should do with the 2nd overall draft pick. And there appears to be 2 camps mostly. Draft a quarterback at number 2, trade the number 2 draft pick. I'm in this camp, and I'm in this camp because no one has told me a good reason to be in that camp. It seems like most people in this camp don't even care who the Titans pick. They'll find it to get the sloppy seconds. You should value the 2nd overall pick more where you have a preference. They just want to take a quarterback. They don't even care who the quarterback is. Guys, you should care who the quarterback is when you're taking 2nd overall. It's a coin flip right now for Sanders or Ward 1st overall at the Tennessee Titans. And some Browns fans are like, well, whoever they don't take, we should take. What? That's not how you approach the 2nd overall draft pick. The 2nd overall draft pick should be devoted to someone who you think is going to be an incredible prospect, not just taking who the Titans passed on. Peter, what's the likelihood they keep Chubb or draft a running back? I think they could very well bring back Nick Chubb. Andrew Berry's press conference did not signal one way or the other, but Andrew Berry is not going to come out in a press conference and say, we would love to have Nick Chubb back. We really want Chubb. Well, when he goes to negotiate with Chubb's agent has a little bit of leverage knowing they really want my client. So whenever they speak to the media about contracts, they're always going to protect themselves when it comes to negotiating by not giving the other side too much leverage. I could see the Browns offering Nick Chubb a veteran minimum contract, which is unfortunate for Chubb. Maybe they toss in some incentives, and then they draft a running back in round 2, which, remember, this is pretty much Nick Chubb's career arc. Like, he was a second-round draft pick himself in 2018. And then 2026, that sounds gross to say out loud, is when that rookie they took in the second round, like Chubb, really blossoms and takes off. Noah, Travis Hunter is the best player in the draft. Why would we not take best available? It's a fair point, Noah. And if they take Travis Hunter, I would not be like having a hissy fit over it. My take, if you will, on Travis Hunter is if he's not going to play both ways in the NFL, if he's just going to play corner, which some think is his best position, is he such a great corner to go second overall? You don't really see corners go second overall too often, or like top 3. You know what I mean? Like Derek Stingley, Sauce Gardner, Jeff Okudah. Is Travis Hunter the corner as good as those guys were in college? I don't think he's far off, but I think Travis Hunter is up there because he plays both ways, and that's just such a novelty. If you don't plan to play in both ways and you plan to just play in the corner, then ignore everything he does on offense and just look at his corner film and tape and stats and then go, is that the film and the tape of a second overall draft pick or a top 5 draft pick? You know what I mean? That's where my hiccup is with Travis Hunter, being why not just take him? Well, I don't know if Travis Hunter, the corner, is second overall worthy. We have Mr. Cullen on the 1s and 2s. Cullen, which card do you want to go with?
I think I'll go King of Spades today.
King of Spades? Okay. I'm going to go with 10 of clubs. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, that actually is a good pick.
Yeah.
I like that pick for you.
You ready?
That's how I'll ever be.
We've been doing this only for a couple of days, and this card has come up twice now. 2 of hearts. 2 of hearts. That's going to do it for us on today's mailbag. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, give us a like down below. It really would go a long way to support the channel. Really appreciate it.